Hello and welcome to the France 24 interview. Today we are in the Republic of Sudan to interview Malik Agar. Malik Agar has been fighting the regime in Khartoum for over 20 years now. He is now the head of the Sudan Revolutionary Front, and he is the head of a large coalition of rebel movements who operate here on the border between northern and southern Sudan. Malik Agar, hello. My first question, what is the situation here right now in the Blue Nile?
Thank you for France 24, and you are welcome in the south of the Republic of Sudan, and especially in the Blue Nile area. It is now about 9 months during this escalation of war. The situation, it has three components. Component one is a military component. As you see here, a military one of components, we lost some battles, and Khartoum has lost some battles, but the war is still waging on, and I presume this is going to be a protracted war, as any war of a guerrilla movement depend upon the circumstances and the conditions of that fighting. The second aspect of it is a political aspect. Of course, other movements, Sudan's People Liberation Movement, we had our own objectives and vision and mission of the new Sudan, the Sudan of the citizenship, the Sudan respects the diversity of the Sudanese. So build a viable country that is built on the citizenship and a wider consulted constitution that accept the diversity of the Sudanese, whether that is cultural or religious or what this is. The third aspect of it is a humanitarian. Of course, this is the worst catastrophic aspect of the fighting. Of course, in any fighting, people end up in crossfires, and in the Blue Nile or in the areas where we are fighting, whether that's in the Nuba Mountains or in the Blue Nile or in Darfur, there is a great majority of the people have taken refuge to South Sudan. Some of them have taken refuge to Ethiopia. Those who have taken refuge, their situation is a bit, is a bit okay, because they had an infrastructure and they are received by the host countries and they are saved by the UNHCR. But internally, those who are displaced, and I also suggest that you visit some of these displaced people inside here. The situation is alarming. Situation is catastrophic, and there's so many assessment has been done by the UN, and so many assessment done by the local NGOs and humanitarian bodies of the movement. The situation is reaching its climate in terms of catastrophe. We have not less than 400,000 in the Blue Nile area who are internally displaced, and they are suffering. Khartoum is denying access to these areas, despite the efforts of the UN and the Arab League and the African Union, that the tripartite statement that we have signed 3 months ago. So Khartoum is still up to now denying to sign that one, but so the situation is reaching that catastrophic aspect. So we really, through your channel, we are urging the UN, the Arab of the League state, and the African Union, and people who are concerned about this one, to at least sensitize Khartoum to accept the services of the people, of the humanitarian people, to save this and access these areas.
Can you tell us where you stand in the conflict between northern and southern Sudan?
Definitely, this is an open secret now. These people are the two countries, Republic of Sudan, the Republic of South Sudan. They had enormous and numerous problems which are outstanding. These are the post-independent, the post-referendum issues. These are security issues and economic issues, and especially the oil exploration and the oil exportation in a pipeline through Khartoum, through the north. They have a lot of problems, and of course, definitely any instability in the Sudan and instability in the Republic of South Sudan, affect us very grossly, because we are at the border. We are at the northern border of Republic of South Sudan, and we are at the southern border of the Republic of Sudan. So even if there is no war between us with the Republic of Sudan, this situation could have been, grossly affecting our livelihood in terms of economy, in terms of security, in terms of all these things. I would wish that they will reach they will settle these issues in a way that is serves their interests.
But I mean, specifically the Sudan Revolutionary Front, what is your position in this conflict between the two countries?
We are fighting Khartoum not because of enmity to Khartoum, but because of the enmity to the system that is trying to impose one system of governance that does not work. We are against a system that has already resulted all along in 50 years of fighting, and result is also in separation of South Sudan. So this is why we stand, not necessarily supporting any party, but we have our own identical problems with the Sudan, and we are dealing with Sudan as on that aspect.
Khartoum, as well as certain international observers, are accusing Juba of backing and financing your movement. We were in Bentiu earlier on this week, and we saw some Darfuri fighters all over town. I mean, what is the situation? Are you backed by Southern Sudan?
The first question is, have you seen Southerners here in the Blue Nile area? That's the first question. The second question is that the Sudan's People Liberation Movement is older than Republic of Sudan and is older than Republic of South Sudan. These two republics, their age is about a few months, maybe 7 to 8 months. But we have been fighting the Sudan government, and this problem was existing for the last 23 years. We have been fighting Khartoum. And nobody accused us because that we have been supported by South Sudan or by any country. That is just a pretext, and that is just an alibi for Sudan finding an excuse for their own problems. This is a Sudanese problem. It's a problem of misgovernance. It's a problem of misadministration of the diversity of the Sudanese. It has nothing to do with South North issues. This is an issue of Khartoum that is with us versus the SPLM North Sudan.
What is your ultimate goal?
Our ultimate goal is to change the system in Khartoum. This is one, to bring about a democratic government that is based on citizenship, that has mechanisms for amicable wealth sharing, amicable power sharing, reaching a constitution that is widely consulted and accepted by the Sudanese, so that we create a viable state, and that viable state respect the neighborhood, respect the international law, and respect basic human rights.
Your goal is to create a secular Sudan where everybody can live in peace, but some of the movements you're heading are actually in favor of implementing the Sharia. How does it work between all the different factions?
We have to be Sudanese before being religious. We have to be Sudanese before being Arabs. We have to be Sudanese before being Funj or Nuba. That is our basic cornerstone, is that we need to be Sudanese. And we create a Sudanese state as an umbrella with a full democracy that allows each and everybody, she or he, to practice his or her religious affiliation and conviction. That does not mean necessarily that you make it an umbrella. You cannot create an Islamic country in Sudan. It's failed for the last 50 years, and it resulted in South Sudan separating. You cannot build Sudan on ethnicity. There is about 300 ethnic ethnicity in Sudan. There is about 3,000 to 4,000 languages, 400 languages in Sudan. So you cannot sit in the palace there and say the Dongolawi language is the language of the state. Nobody will accept it. People will think you are mad, and they will take you to a nearest psychiatric. So as also you cannot say Sudan is built on one parameter of ethnicity, Arab and Islam. That is going to be very difficult to implement. So we are for a Sudanese state as an umbrella that accommodates everybody despite your religious affiliation, despite your political affiliation, despite your geographical affiliation. These are immaterial. What is immaterial is a solid Sudanese state.
What will your strategy be if negotiations resume between northern and southern Sudan?
In Africa, we don't expose our bottom lines, so I will never expose my strategy, but I will be there.
Would you consider giving up the struggle if Khartoum was willing to negotiate with you?
That is part of the strategy, so I will keep it close to my chest till the time comes. And whatever there in military, you don't expose your strategy. And even because there might be promptu targets, so you will never know. So you will have to deal with them when the time comes. But you have to develop numerous of strategies of numerous circumstances and numerous developments that happens. We know there is under air there is an issue of the Security Council resolution, and in paragraph 3 and 6 there you find the SPLM North is being ushered in, and then the AU also resolution 319 also has this one, the UN 2024 resolution. We are there, but we are still waiting. Who's going to approach us? Nobody approached us up to now, but we are given an ultimatum that we have to comply. But to whom? And where? And how?
Malik Agar, thank you very much for having us here.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening, and stay tuned to France 24.